Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 3 or video 3. We're picking up pretty much where we left off on episode 2. Really excited to get this one done. But yeah, so we got the shocks, all that good jazz, the receiver, ESC, bumper. I think in the last episode we finished up with a lot of the suspension pieces and top plate, front and rear suspension pieces. So yeah, she's starting to come together, looking extra good. But yeah, it's still super trippy about the ESC. I've never had a buggy yet where where the ESC is mounted upside down right in there. So be a little bit tricky cleaning up the wires. I don't know, I get picky on wire management, but I think when the cage and stuff like that goes on, I don't think you're gonna see a whole lot of it. But yeah, really happy with the way that is going together. Love that front bumper, like I was saying in the last episode. It's almost like identical, slightly bigger, but almost identical to the Tamiya Hot Shot bumper. But I like the holes and the embroidered or kind of Kyosho laser in there, or Kyosho emblem in there. I think it looks really good. But yeah, lots of metal, aluminum pieces. But even with that, the weight is super light. Like for me, this pretty much weighs about the same as the last build I did, the VQS, and that has a lot more plastic, whereas this one is a lot more aluminum. So it kind of just goes to show, even though this is 80s 90s technology, by no means is it a tank or heavy or anything like that. Like the technology in this buggy was pretty much decades ahead of its time as far as weight. Moving the battery to the middle to get a lot of the weight centered. The receiver and the ESC kind of mounts in the front and in the back of the battery. The steering servo will mount up here, kind of a little bit ahead of the battery. So I think they focused a lot of research and R&D and kind of took the pros and cons of their last buggies and implemented it into this one, and it definitely shows. So I like tuning and hopping up a lot of my buggies, but a lot of these Kyosho kits, they really don't need it. They're almost perfect outside of the box. Like I said, the only really upgrade or hop up, if you want to call it that I did was a metal Servo saber. Other than that, that's basically really the only upgrade that I feel or modification that these need, other than tuning the suspension when you get everything up and running. So yeah, super excited. We're gonna get the servo bracket or mount. Like I mentioned, that's another one, mounts upside down, so super excited to see how that gets done. We have the spur gear. You have to attach that to another gear, get that mounted. The gear cover, and then we're going to move on to the cage, tires, driver, all that good stuff. So I'm going to get that knocked out, and we'll jump into a couple time lapses, and then I will update you guys when everything's done. All right, we're back with an update. So I got the servo mounted in there. I did a lot of it off camera because it's a pretty tight area, and the orientation that you have to do everything, I just would have blocked the camera too much and wouldn't really been able to see a whole lot. But yeah, with a word of caution with the Jazz Rider Metal Gear Servo Saver, I still think it's worth it, but it does add, I think, a little bit extra level of complexity because there's not the factory Kyosho one kind of has a cutout, so the like the ball part of it that goes on top of the servo saver, I want to call it a ball diff, but it's not a ball diff. The ball connector, the plastic one has an indentation, so it sits in there really nice and kind of locks in place, so you don't have to hold it when you tighten it. But the Jazz Rider one does not, so I have to get like a little wrench. Good thing there's like an opening right there, so I had to get a wrench in there, hold that while I tightened it. Nothing hard, but it just makes it a little bit harder without that ball being held in by the indentation or the groove. And you kind of have to bolt the get the servo saver in first, and then bolt the horn on, and then attach the actual arm in there. So far that was actually you want to call it the hardest or the trickiest part of the build, was actually getting the servo in there and connected to the servo saver. But I understand why they did it, because there's really no way to do it until you kind of get to that step. I think I might try in the next build, because I have a lot more of these for the rest of my Kyosho 4-wheel drives. They all take the same, so the Optima, the Javelin, the Turbo Optima, and then soon to have it on back order, but hopefully one of these days I'll get it the Optima Pro. They all use the same style servo saver. I think I'll try getting that ball end on there first when the servo saver's out, and then see if that makes it any easier. But yeah, it looks good in there. I like the little red perfect, whatever that says. I like the little red thing, kind of goes nice with the whole theme of it. But yeah, another item that is upside down in the buggy, including the ESC, like I mentioned in the last video. But super cool, compact, clean, out of the way. Some more stuff. I did some of it on camera, but getting the pinion gear mounted, it's a big pinion. It's a 25 tooth, and it's solid steel. So definitely has some weight. And yeah, just everything on this kit is just over engineered, especially for, being 80s 90s technology. It definitely future-proofed itself, like I've kind of mentioned a lot. So got the motor in there. It's the Holmes Hobby Retro Sport. I love the motors. I think they go great. They got internal cooling fans, and then they have an outer magnetic shield that you can take on and off. Having it on gives you a little bit more torque and less top end, and then if you take it off, I think you said it gives you about 10 or 15, or no, 1,000 or 1,500 more RPM out of the motor. So I left it on just for the torque, but it is a 17 turn, so I think she's going to boogie pretty good. Kind of a bummer that you can't see too much in there, but it's purple and then green Retro Sport, so still super rad. But yeah, I got the pinion mounted, and then the spur gear, got that assembled with the little circlip or E-clip bearings in there, and then just did the old-fashioned sheet of paper between the pinion and the spur gear, and then you lock it down, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna get that greased up, and this was actually nice. Usually I end up doing like just grease on the outside of the cover to, you know, help kind of keep dirt and debris out. But this one comes with a nice little foam piece. And as opposed to the last couple Kyoshos that I built, which were the Beetle and the Turbo Scorpion, they didn't have this little foam piece, so I just used grease on those ones. But this one's really nice little foam piece, and you have to actually compress it on there. So definitely no worries about dirt or debris getting in there. And a nice little cover. So I'm gonna get the gears greased up, get this cover on, and then we'll actually move on to the tires. I already have those tires mounted. I think I mentioned in the last video, I don't remember if I did, but I'll mention it again. I did end up going with the foam, and I'm super happy I did. Sucks that I had to take the tires apart. As I mentioned in video 1, they fit, but it's a super tight fit. For those who think the getting the tires on like the SRB chassis is hard, this is the next level up. So, but it was definitely worth it. It's add a lot more stiffness to the sidewall and not as much compression or deflection in the tire. So yeah, really happy about it. On the fence on whether or not I'm going to do some white lettering on the tires. I'll think about that. But yeah, so we're going to get these tires mounted, and I believe it is finally on to the cage and the driver, so really excited about that. So I'm going to get that stuff knocked out. We'll jump into a couple time lapses, and I'll be back to update you guys. All right, we are back. Updates, changes, everything's super good. So yeah, got this pretty much knocked out. Amazing. Like, I am, holy smokes, this thing is, wow. Kind of lost for words, but this thing is absolutely amazing. Like, everything, it's not even 100, it's like 90% done, but wow. So got the, where did we leave off? Got the wing on, obviously. So that's looking super good. Got the side cage pieces on right here, and got everything finished on the spur gear and the pinion gear. I really like this plastic. It's like, it's almost like soft. It's weird, but it's got like the nice little, camera's picking it up, Kyosho Corporation, like embossed right there. So super nice. Got the rear motor mounted in there. That looks great. And this little rear, back cage piece. Got the wires all clean and routed. Yeah, it is just absolutely amazing. So here's the rest of the cage piece. Got all the decals on. These are all metal up here. This one's metal. Super nice. And then got the driver. Got him all squared away. So I went with the purple gloves and helmet to match the purple motor, and kind of did him so he's like, black in like the creases, and kind of makes it look used and not brand new, which is what I like. So that went together really good. Got that all painted up and decaled on. Ended up going with the little Easter egg, if you want to call it that, little orange guy in the back. But yeah, I would say, believe it or not, the hardest part was this driver. I think there's like probably 12 or 15 decals, like all these like carbon fiber decals. You didn't really have to do it. I mean, I painted it, and you could have just left it black, but I don't know. I guess I started and I was like, well, I already started, so might as well finish it. But yeah, so that looks super cool. Really happy with him. And then the change I did, so I thought about it, and yeah, ended up going with Super Sand tires, and that little, it says Sand Super right there, a little red and white decal. But yeah, I think they turned out really good. I think the tires needed it, but yeah. So did that to all four, and super happy. So pretty much on the home stretch. Just have to get the driver in, get the cage on, get the tires on, and I mean, that's a wrap. She's all done. I'll probably after this, I'll pop a little video up of kind of breaking in the motor and the chain. It already sounds amazing, and it's not even at full throttle. So after this clip, I'll kind of pop that up so you guys can see. And then these are super nice. These are the battery Velcro tie down, hold down thing. Have Kyosho on them. So yeah, super excited. This thing is amazing. I can't wait to have it 100% done, and a full rolling chassis. So I'm gonna get that stuff knocked out, and then I'll be back to show you guys when she's all done. All right, and here she is, finally all done. What an amazing kit this is. Super glad I ended up getting it, and very lucky that I ended up getting it, because this one, like I mentioned earlier, was out of stock for quite a while. I heard rumors that it was discontinued. There may or may not be some during summer, but yeah, I just got it, like I mentioned, directly from Kyosho, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to get one. So yeah, as you guys saw, the build went beautifully. It's nice to kind of get a little change and not, you know, really have a body to have to paint and prep and mess with. This cage is super rad, and like you've kind of seen on all my covers, so it's just kind of giving me a Mad Max kind of vibe or theme, and one of my favorite movies, so definitely no complaints there. But for those who are maybe on the fence about getting this one, just get it. And this is one of the few Kyoshos that it kind of has an open cockpit, so that chain is pretty much proud and in the open. So if you are willing to do it, I would highly recommend doing this one with the chain. Like I said, it's one of the few that you can actually kind of see it. And at the end, I'll kind of throw up some running videos. But this thing, any really chain-driven, I feel RC sounds awesome. But this thing sounds like a mix between like an F1 car and some angry swarm of bees. It's just super rad and super nostalgic. So yeah, I would highly recommend. The chain does come in the kit, so I'd highly recommend building it with the chain. And there's not a whole lot of maintenance with the chain. It's kind of something that you just have to check every 3 to 4 runs. And tensioning it is really easy. You can kind of see right down here, there's, you know, some slots or grooves, so that way you can slide and tension the chain. But it's really just loosening these 4 bolts down here, these bolts on either side, and then just loosening these, and then you can adjust the chain. Eventually you may have to remove some links, but there's so much adjustability from the factory that I don't really think it's going to be too much of an issue. So yeah, super cool, and a lot of firsts on this one for me. You can see the servo kind of mounts upside down and in there, and then the ESC also upside down and kind of out of the way. But yeah, just another beautiful, you know, vintage series that Kyosho did, all, you know, aluminum frames. Ended up going with, can't see it, but the purple Retro Sport Homes Hobby 17 turn motor, all nice and tucked in there. Kind of wires ran nice and neat. So yeah, no real issues. Driver kind of did him with a purple helmet to kind of match that motor, and you know, a little bit of like a, you know, black in the creases of the suit, kind of just to make him look like he's, you know, driving in an open cockpit. He's not going to stay clean, but yeah, just like all the kits, beautiful. The only one little, it was a challenge, was doing the Jazz Rider metal servo saver. I'll probably, I got them for all my kits, but I'll probably assemble it different, because once you get kind of all this together, it's really hard to get in there and get everything attached. So I might kind of change the orientation that I do it on my next build, but it might not be as hard, because like I said, kind of all these pieces and stuff like that were in the way. But yeah, they give you two bumper options. I just think, you know, the longer bumper kind of fits it better than it's like a thin little low profile kind of racing bumper. But yeah, kit went together beautifully. I, you know, mentioned earlier, I did change, you know, these are the, if you want to call it the Tamiya sand tires. So they come on things like the I'm drawing a blank here, but the Beetle, the bug that they have, the super buggy. These will also come on like the Grasshopper, and these are the the standard rims. So there's not a whole lot of different tire options, and even though these spiky tires are super rad, among my favorite, I want to be able to drive this anywhere I want. Street, tarmac, dirt, grass. Not kind of wear those tires down after 1 or 2 battery packs. So yeah, all in all, I still think it looks the best with the spike tires, but I'm not too mad at this. I still think it kind of goes with the vibe of the buggy, and then I just did the super sand and did some decals on the tires that are, I think, kind of tie it together. But yeah, everything really, really good. Suspension, again, among the best, kind of like they all are on the Vintage series. These are just the larger, reservoir shocks. Ran a little, like just a tad bit thicker oil, a little bit more spring compression in the rear. And after I, drive it around, I'll kind of tune that and play with it a little bit more. But again, just an awesome buggy, and one of my favorite, because it's so unique. There's not a whole lot of, buggies out there that are like this. So yeah, turned out really, really well. So other than that, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm excited to get this one out, and it should be pretty quick with a 17 turn, so I'll hope to get a speed rating here. But yeah, nothing to me kind of beats the sound of a chain with an old school brush motor. So really excited to get this out and get some footage of it. But other than that, I hope you guys really enjoyed the build, because I did. And like I said, if you don't have one, definitely get one, because I don't know how much longer Kyosho is going to continue the Vintage series. But yeah, like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know down below. Let me know what you guys think of the build, and I'll throw up a couple indoor shots that I have. I do have a separate video of kind of breaking in the chain and the motor, so I'll put that down in the description if you guys want to check that out. And then I'll throw some up, kind of towards the end. And as far as on the RC wall, this thing looks rad, so I'll throw some pictures up of that. But yeah, thanks for everybody for tuning in, and really excited to get the next build underway. It might be another Kyosho, or it may be maybe one of the older Tamiyas, I don't know, but I'll let you guys know. So other than that, if you guys are not outside playing with the RC cars, get them off the shelf, dust them off, get them dirty, play with them. That's what they're made for, and I'll catch everybody on the next one.